Welcome back, warriors.
Woohoo!
We're so excited that you're here with us again this week.
Yeah.
So we have a glorious topic for you all.
Mm-hmm.
Aging.
Yeah.
Ta-da! Getting old. What?
Yeah, I was just gonna say it after you. Getting old.
You stopped at getting. That's why I was like waiting. I was waiting for the getting old. And it's like, this is part of our mundane series this week.
Yes.
We decided that getting old / birthdays, right? Because in order to get old, maybe we should stop saying old. Maybe I should stop saying old. And instead of saying getting older, right? Or to get older, we have to have a birthday.
That is correct.
That's typically how that goes.
Yes. Birthday, older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do make a very intrinsic connection.
Yes.
Very obvious connection. So basically, because warriors, like everything gives us anxiety, the idea of getting older also, which we know now, you probably knew already, but now you know again, which means that you have birthdays, can cause us a little bit of anxiety.
And I mean, what has kind of inspired this is both of our birthdays are kind of coming up, and they are a bigger birthday.
A milestone.
Yeah.
Of sorts. We're turning 29.
Yeah. Again. Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
It's crazy that we're both turning 29. And that's obviously a milestone birthday, 29.
29. And that we talk about being 80s babies. It's like
so makes sense.
Yes.
All the math checks out. Unfortunately, we're not going to be 29, although 29 was a great year. 29 was a great year.
28 was one of my most favorite years.
Mine too.
Oh my gosh.
It truly was. So I picked a good number in that joke I just made.
Yes.
We're turning 40 this year, warriors.
That feels heavier after we go from 28 to 40. Jesus.
I felt all this energy in my body just zap right out.
Yeah.
Just saying it.
Yeah. Cause 28 was a great year, but also that was 11 years ago.
Oh, good Lord. Yes. Unfortunately, but fortunately, we are aging, which means we're celebrating, right?
Yes.
We've decided that we're celebrating. So we're both turning 40 this year. My birthday is in July. Abby's
Mine
in
is
September.
Yep.
Right. So they're close enough together.
Mm-hmm.
And so we both started chatting about how the idea of turning 40 has been sitting on our minds a little bit more recently because it's creeping up.
Yeah. Well, actually, I feel like one of the reasons we started talking about it was because I told you that I had gone to the orthodontist because I want to fix my snaggletooth, and
which I love.
And the guy, and part of it is, because I want a nicer smile, even though I did have braces in middle school, but my wisdom teeth moved them. Yeah. But the other thing is it can cause more receding gum stuff, right? So go to the orthodontist. He looks in my mouth. He's like, yeah, we can definitely fix this. This is super easy. And he's like, and with the receding gum thing, he's like, you're just so young. You don't have to worry about it. And I was like, thanks for calling me so young. And then I tapped at my birth date, right?
And he was like, never mind.
Yeah. He was like, oh, wait, what? Like he actually thought, I don't know how old he thought I was, but he actually didn't look at my birthday and didn't realize I was almost 40. And then just paused in discomfort and didn't know how to still call me young, but without acknowledging that he thought I was younger. So that you and I had that conversation. Then that also spurred the oh yeah, it's awkward when people think we're super young, which is great. That is great.
Sure. Yes. I get that a good amount of times too, which I'm grateful for to a certain extent.
But then they realize our age, and then there's that discomfort of trying to make them feel better.
Right. Then I'm consoling them for they feel guilty.
Yes.
And usually you get the nice compliment, or to you assume it's a compliment. It's oh, you don't look like you're anywhere near 40. But then it's why did we even start telling people that?
Yeah.
I always wonder that too. And I've said that exact thing to so many people. It's you look way younger than that. And I'll be honest and say that I've said it sometimes when I don't mean it, because it feels like something I'm supposed to say to make someone feel better. And so then I wonder, is this person saying that to me because they want me to feel better? Right?
I know there's so much overthinking involved because we're all concerned about our age.
Yeah. I mean, like, so what comes up for me always, like, I remember I had this like mini meltdown before I turned 25 and then again before I turned 30.
Yes, the quarter life crisis.
Right. It's a real thing. Yes. I'm sure so many warrior listeners can relate to this, or, you know, maybe not, maybe I'm I'm hopeful that more people can relate besides just you and me. But like, yeah, I was like, oh my God, now I can rent a car. Like, to me, it wasn't a cool thing. It was like, oh, I'm getting older. It's so cool. To me, every year I was like, I'm not young anymore. Yeah, like, it just kept feeling like, even though I feel young and like my energy, and I could be very immature, but like hopefully in a fun, silly, like uplifting way. And not like a, you know, I'm dumb, don't listen to me kind of way. But, you know, I still always felt like I don't want to tell people the new number. Yes. Especially when they were milestones. Like 25 at the time felt like, now I'm old. And then 30 was like, oh, fuck. Like,
which, I mean, it's also crazy because at 25, like, most of our brains are like just starting to fully develop, aren't fully developed. And then it's like, I'm 25. I should know what I want to do with the rest of my life. Yeah. Right. And 25-year-olds are babies now.
Yeah. People ask 5-year-olds what they want to do for the rest of their life. It's so utterly insane.
Yeah. Right. Insane. Right. But that pressure at 25, it's like, I should be a grown up. Yeah. Right. And I should act a certain way. And it's just, it's numbers mean something, even though they really don't.
Yes. No, I love that. I love the juxtaposition of that sentence, because it's like, ages ain't nothing but a number, but the higher the number gets, right, the more likely that stuff's going to go on with you physically. There's typically, potentially anyway, more drama. There's more baggage because of life and lived experience. And, you know, sometimes the best parts of your years are in the rear view for some folks, I'm sure. Like, to me, I feel, knock wood, like I feel lucky, blessed, and grateful that, like, as time's gone on, I feel like, you know, I've come into my own a lot more, like trying to look at the positives about it all. I feel like I really found myself in who I want to be in my 30s. And so part of me, while very anxious about entering into a new decade and what the implications of that are physically and emotionally, I'm also trying to be really, really stoked and excited to see, like, well, what is this next decade going to hold for me? Because so many wonderful things happened that I can speak of in my 30s. But then that's also the anxiety of like, will my 40s will they, you know, disappoint me now? Because so many great things happened in my 30s. I mean, great things happened in my 20s too. And so, like, hopefully that's just my mindset. Right. But part of me is like, well, new decade, new expectations, new possibilities. And those may not all be positive. Like, who knows?
Wait, I feel like at some point, and I think you shared this on an episode, I feel like at some point you said, like, the best time in like a woman's life is her 60s or something.
Yeah. I had heard on a podcast pretty recently, actually, that there was research done that women that were part of this study said that they felt the most free and like themselves when they were in the 65 and up age category.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's a long time away.
So much to look forward to.
Well, right. In some ways, people in their 40s are literally in the trenches, like doing the meat of their lives. Like, they're literally, like, if you're looking at it like a sandwich life, right? We're not in the bread stage anymore. We're not even in like the lettuce or tomato stage. Now we're in like the burger stage or the vegan patty or whatever it is you associate with the sandwich or a burger.
I think they call it middle age.
There you go. No, I hate that phrase. It makes sense logically, but like, I don't want to tell people I'm in middle age. Like, who wants to say that shit? If warriors, anyone enjoy saying they're middle aged, please hit us up on Instagram. Yes. Send us an email. Like, let us know how and why you come to that mindset that it's cool to be like, I'm middle aged.
Right. Again, it's like, how do we feel? Like, I remember growing up and it was like, oh, 30 is the new 20 or 20 is the new 30. Like, you know,
that's
like
just what they tell you.
Yeah. And it's like, wait, why can't I just be me and not have like a definition of what it should be based on a number? You know, it's like, Why can't I just be me? I don't know. Maybe my middle age is like going to be at 50. Maybe my middle age was at like 25. Like,
Right.
Like you just don't know your middle age.
It's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Right. Because I mean, and nothing's promised to us either. Right. So it's like, I mean, well, God, that sounds so dark, but I think that it is big, right?
Yeah.
Like getting older, we shouldn't dismiss the anxiety that comes with thinking about getting older. Cause like, yes, one more birthday means we're alive longer, which means that there's potential for joy and love and excitement and things to experience that are new and interesting and amazing. But it's also normal, right, to feel big feelings about getting older.
Yeah.
So like, let's just make that okay.
Society tells us like we don't want to age, right? So there's like the navigating like how we feel and then what society tells us. But I want to start on a very light note. Ready?
I'm ready. I'm bracing now.
Yeah, I know.
You said light, but then there was a heavy pause. So now I'm like, okay.
I'm totally changing topics. That was
okay.
Okay. Because we're talking about middle age and I just wanted to. So our theme is, birthdays and aging is the mundane anxiety. So how do you feel on your birthdays when people sing at you?
It is the literal worst.
Yes.
I hate it.
Anxiety. Like, where do I look? Do I sing along too?
You better be smiling.
And when is this going to end? And
it's the longest song.
Yeah. It's the longest song. No one ever sings it on key. No.
Some people then add the are you 10? Like I jokingly for older people, I'm like, I go with the decades. Are you 10? Are you 20? And then like, if let's say they're 37, right? Then you get to 30 and then you start counting by the
God. Oh God.
Like, I know. And I'm doing this to people.
That's horrible. I will not ever see you on my birthday.
Oh, that's not true. Untrue.
Well, luckily it'll be a 40. So it's like you just get to the decade.
That's true. You get to the decade of choice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm like, and it's just those traditions, right? Too, that can sometimes for some people, it's like, that's what makes it fun or celebratory. It's like the
skip around the room. Did you ever do that?
No.
Then you make, after you sing happy birthday at the person, right? Yeah. I don't feel like it's ever two. I think everyone's awkward in the singing,
Yes.
Then you follow up with having the birthday person skip around the room.
Yikes.
And so it's skip around the room, won't shut up till you skip around the room.
That's horrific. What if a person can't skip?
Well,
That's way worse than the counting thing.
I think that people wouldn't sing it at that point. That would be
super insensitive.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that like an upstate New York thing? Like,
I have no idea.
I've never been at a birthday party in my 39, almost 40 years where that has been a thing. When I heard that on The Office, when it was Creed's birthday.
Oh,
remember during episode of season 4 was Survivor Man. Michael goes out to the woods and Dwight follows him.
I know all that. And
they get back and it was Creed's birthday. He sings in the falsetto.
Yeah.
Right. And then at the end he goes, skip around the room. Around the room. And then he tells him to stop skipping because he'll hurt himself. That's the only time I've ever even heard of that being a thing until you just said that.
Wow. So it is a thing.
Okay.
Warriors, you tell us,
terrible.
Do you sing to people to skip around the room?
I know. I'm dying to know now. Like where else? This has to be somewhat regional. I'm not buying that it's a universal thing.
I mean, maybe it's not universal, but at least the Office people and I know about it.
Yeah.
And some people that I grew up with.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what would you say is like the number one? What's like the first anxiety or overthinking that pops into your head when you think about birthdays or aging?
It's like, what do I do to celebrate? Like, that's the first thing. It's like,
do you celebrate?
Wait, what'd you say?
Well, it's like, do you celebrate?
Yeah,
and then if and when you do
I acknowledge it? Do I spend the day in silence and journaling? Do I go have a nice dinner? Do I have a party? And I just like, I know I can just ask myself, what do I want to do? But for a lot of my life, I just didn't know. And I think part of it was, my mom will correct me if I'm wrong, but so my birthday is September 3rd. I was born on Labor Day. Okay. My birthday often falls on or around Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
So from elementary school, middle school, and high school, my birthday was often around the long weekend right before school starts, which means no one was around.
Yeah.
And so I always had to have these birthdays where like either I would choose to celebrate my birthday like on my birthday or like wait a couple of weeks till everyone got back in town. Right.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where some of the like, how do I celebrate my birthday is. Like I remember on my 21st birthday, it was just like me and my parents, and I like ordered a Corona because I could legally drink. Right.
Yeah.
But so that's like the first like anxiety that comes up is like, how do we celebrate? Like, you know, and then in college, it's like, you know, you just party with your friends. Right. But then like, you know, getting older, it's like, do I, you know, how do I celebrate? So what about you?
Yeah.
What is your first anxiety that like comes up when you think about like birthdays?
It's a lot of that too. It's like, should I do anything about it this year? It's like the first thing, my first thought, or people start asking me around, you know, we're recording this in May. Yep. So like around this time of the year, it's like, okay, my birthday's a couple months away and like this one's a milestone, but like even just in past birthdays, doing anything this year, got anything on the mind, thoughts? And then approaching this milestone birthday, a lot more people are asking, what's going on? You doing anything? You know, and it's like family wants to make sure that they're like available and whatever. And that's all great. But then I wind up feeling pressure too about like making sure other people have a good time with whatever I'm doing, or not disappointing someone with either the activity or like, I remember being a kid too. And like, I mean, I had a summer birthday and we grew up, when I was growing up, I had a pool in my backyard. So that kind of made things pretty easy. It was like mostly, there was good weather. It was pool parties, you know, and whatever. Even if it rained, kids don't care about rain in the pool. So I always felt lucky that like a lot of my birthdays could be fun, outdoorsy kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I also always felt weird about like I didn't grow up with like a ton of friends. Like I had friends, but like I always felt weird about like having a smaller birthday party than other people.
Yes.
Like I would go to other people's houses and they would have like 40 people and I would have like 15, and I would be like, must be a loser or something's wrong with me. And so like, I always kind of had those moments too, until I got to high school. And then I cared less about that, which is interesting. And then like you said, like, you know, through the years, it was just like, go out, party, drink, whatever, have a dinner. And then now it's like the last few years have been extremely subdued. As pandemic aside, at most I'm like meeting a couple people for dinner, and I'm usually meeting them at different times. It's like, it's Margot, it's your birthday, let's go out. And then I'll go out with that one person. And then a few days later, it's Margot, let's go out. Okay. So like, there's not like a big celebratory thing that I've planned, or like a family member Adam's planned. It's kind of like
an ongoing celebration of Margot.
Right. But then that's weird too. Cause then I feel like I'm, you know, that there's this weird, like, then it just feels inorganic or something. It's like, can't we just have dinner and have it not be about my birthday?
Yeah. Right. That's the thing, is like, do I want to feel acknowledged and celebrated, or do I just want to enjoy time with people? Right. And my birthday is a way that gets people to all hang out together, or makes more time for dinners and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love that you said the numbers thing, and like, I'm mortified with what I'm about to say, but something that actually caused me like a lot of stress and discomfort, and I'd say even like anxiety, was when Facebook came out, right? And then Facebook would tell everyone when it was your birthday. And like in my, I don't know, mid and late 20s or whatever it was, God, Facebook's been around a long time. I would, you know, never say this out loud, so I'm embarrassed, but I would compare how many people wished me happy birthday to how many people wish my friends happy birthdays around the same time period. And if it wasn't around the same and I got less, I would feel like crap, like I was less loved.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when you say that numbers thing, I remember it was like my like 30th birthday. And like no one was wishing me a happy birthday on Facebook. And like my whole day just felt like crap. Like I was just feeling so sad and unloved and unappreciated, right? Because no one's wishing me a happy birthday on Facebook. Right. And then at the end of the day, I realized that I had turned off the like notification of my birthday.
Yeah.
So I got a
one
few
knew.
more. Right. But no one knew. But it made me just realize how silly numbers are when it comes to like happy birthdays. Like the people that I've known my whole life and know my birthday really well. Like I know I'll always get something from Claudia. I'll always get something from Alana, a few other people. And but it just like really struck me as like, wow, I can't believe I'm giving so much of my power to something like Facebook.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
No,
But
that's
that
so
numbers
true.
thing, when you said the numbers thing, it was like, oh, that made me think of that.
Yeah, no. And I love that you brought that up because it's a totally different age and stage of your life too, like different from mine. And like, but I mean, I feel like just as a separate rant, but like social media is designed for that shit to make you feel less than
right
and unworthy and the comparison game and all that stuff. So that's a whole other thing. But
then I should buy stuff that they're advertising to me so I feel better about myself.
Yeah, that's true. What's like the weirdest thing you've ever been gifted for your birthday?
Oh my gosh.
I have one. I literally can't wait to share.
Okay, you got to share first because
I just asked you.
Oh, but this might take for what is the weirdest thing I've ever been gifted for my birthday? I mean, like I am blank. I am
I'll tell you
blank.
Okay. I'll tell you mine.
Yeah.
On my 18th birthday from a couple of friends. These were friends that like were like close with me at the time.
Yeah.
They gave me one of those like, you may not even know what this is. It was like a fad at the time. Like it had its moment and now it's like, I don't even think it's a thing anymore. Or if it is, I haven't seen it because a lot of those tchotchke shops are gone. There's no, people don't really go to malls and stuff anymore. It was like a bass fish.
Oh yeah.
That it looked like a plaque with a giant fish as if like I had caught a fish and like, I guess preserved it or something, bronzed it and put it on my wall. And if you pressed a button, it turned to you and sang like a birthday song about like, and this was I was like, are you fucking kidding me right now? I'm like, this is a present for an 18-year-old girl. Like these were from like a couple of really good friends. I was like, what? I didn't even know what to do with it.
Yeah.
And then my other friends like later on were like, what was that? I'm like, I don't know. It feels so weird now.
That was a real gift. That wasn't a real joke gift.
That was all I got. It was not a joke gift. They thought it was hilarious. I thought I would love it. And I was going to think it was the funniest thing ever. I was like, this is ridiculous. It was the most bizarre gift I've ever gotten. And I mean, nothing ever in my life from all the years prior and all the years since has ever come to touch that.
Wow.
So fun. I mean, like now looking back, it's hilarious. I'm like, this is so like, it's just a funny blip and a moment, but
I wish they said it was a joke gift. It would have made it funnier.
It was a real gift.
Yeah. Can we talk about, so like the anxiety on receiving gifts? I think we've like lightly talked about that.
You feel about this.
But like opening presents in front of people is usually really like, am I smiling enough? Am I grateful enough? Oh no, I don't like the thing they gave me, but I'm grateful they thought of me. And now I want to overcompensate with too much gratitude. Can they tell that I don't like this thing? Do they think I'm ungrateful? Like
so good. Oh my God, all of those things.
Yeah.
And not even just for your birthday, right? But just gifts in general.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God, so much anxiety around that. Because it's all the things you just said. It's like the overthinking of like, look happy, but not too happy. So you don't look like a crazy person smiling from ear to ear over like, a pair of socks or like something that shouldn't elicit that much joy.
Don't give away that you don't like this gift.
Like I wish I could go back in time and remember what my face looked like when I received this fish plaque. Be like, you guys must hate me or something. But like the best part was that they wound up being embarrassed, I feel like, because everyone was so utterly like, no one really reacted. Nobody thought it was funny. And so people were, I feel like that's their bad. But anyway, totally on the gift giving and receiving. And for me, I know sometimes when I love gift giving, I love making stuff or buying something for specific people that makes me think of them. It brings my heart a lot of joy. I love giving gifts, but then, that's a lot of pressure too. It's like, I want to make sure I give the right thing. Hopefully they don't have it. What if they have it? And then, it's
what if they're super grateful? Maybe they don't like it.
And then sometimes I'm looking at their reactions.
Yes.
Unfairly probably. And I'm like, that didn't look like a great reaction. They hate it. Or like, they love it. Yay. Or like, sometimes I get those. I'm like, maybe it's a little bit of overcompensating. Like that smile didn't seem genuine. Like, I don't know. But the fact that I just wish that gift giving would just cease to exist, like, in a way.
Yep.
As much as I enjoy buying gifts for others, I think generally the spirit of it, I'm so glad that like many years ago, we still get gifts. My husband, Adam, and I share gifts, like family and whatever. Some family, but not all, not even close to all. But like my friends and I, we don't really share gifts anymore for our birthdays. It just, I'd rather like be together.
Yes.
Like, let's just go
on an
do
adventure.
Something. Yeah.
Exactly.
Even if it's like sitting at the diner, like that's,
yes.
And you giving me a hug, like that's a gift, like being in your presence, a phone call, a text, like whatever. To me,
right.
That's so much better to receive than something physical.
Right. There was, when I first moved to Colorado and I was like, you know, trying to make friends, I made friends with these improv people. And, at that point we had been hanging out for like, I don't know, 8 or 9 months when it was my birthday. And so they were like my only friends in Colorado with the exception of Dan. So I was like, hey, will you hang out with my birthday? And we went to this really fun board game place, you know, and it had like food and alcohol. I know you're not into board games, but you could play Cards Against Humanity or Cranium or I
do love that one.
Which one?
Cards Against.
Yeah. And it had like hundreds and hundreds of games. Right. But like, I also really like Cranium. Cranium's like one of my like go-to funsy games. But anyway, it was just nice. And like, we could all hang out. It wasn't like, get me a birthday cake and give me gifts that I open up in front of you. It was like the gift of presence, of hanging out together and having fun. Right.
Yes. Presence without the T. Exactly.
That's right. Presence with the C. So, okay. So so we're talking about birthdays and we've talked about aging, but will you share some of the anxieties or the discomforts that come up with the aging part of the birthdays?
Yeah. So like I've said a few times, like generally speaking, I feel really like grateful, thankful, and blessed for like my sound body and mind. Right. Yeah. And so like, keeping that gratitude in mind, there are certain things that I used to be able to do energetically and physically that even though like I feel like I'm strong, I'm in good shape, like I exercise every day, I take long walks with Hurley, you know, like that I still feel like, oh, this has changed a little bit. I have to work harder at that thing.
Yes.
My flexibility's changed. It's like, oh, I used to be able to like let's say I do a vinyasa flow for, you know, in yoga for anyone that's not a yoga person that's listening, and like, you know, at like a decent pace for like 20 minutes and my body would feel really warm. And then I'm able to like, you know, go a little bit harder and faster and like, you know, but now it takes more like 30 minutes for me to be fully warm in like every corner of my body. And it's like, why are my hips still so tight? Like, why are my knees, my knees have been cracking since I was 11 years old. Like as a dancer, and so to me, it feels really good when they crack. Like to other people hear them, they're like, oh my God, what's wrong? I'm like, nah, they've been doing that my entire life. But now sometimes even I'll like hear a certain crack and I'm like, I have to like check. I'm like, can I still move? And I feel like it's only because I'm getting older that I even think about, oh my God, that crack sounded worse than normal. Like, let me just like check my mobility quick.
Yes.
And it's like, just stuff like saying the words, check my mobility.
Yeah.
Like, that's not ever been a phrase up until like the last couple of years. So I think it's just like that kind of stuff. Yeah. And then just like we were saying before, I don't like saying the number. I am really upset about having to say I'm 40. I don't want to check the 40 box. I don't want to be in the 40 box. Like, on the one hand, I do, because that means I'm not dead.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I just don't want to say I'm 40. Like, it just feels like a bridge too far.
Yes.
Like all the numbers are hard. This is weird. I always struggled harder with odd numbers. So I do feel like 41 will be way worse than 40. So I'm actually holding on to that. Okay. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be celebratory and excited about 40 because it's a milestone number, and B, it's an even number. Yeah. So like, I'm trying to like reframe in my mind that like, I'm excited about this because of this, because I know that once I'm like in the decade, like 41, it's like, you're you've entered. And then it's the adding of the one that I'm like, my eyes starts twitching just thinking about it. It's like, no, I'm like in my 40s. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you?
Okay. So, I mean, I can so relate, like my body's changing. I feel like that's like how they like gave us books for like puberty, like your changing body. Like they should also do that in your 30s and 40s and 50s.
Oh my God. Remind me to come back to that when you're done telling your story.
Okay. With our changing body.
Yeah.
So my struggle, my overthinkingness is, what do I choose to accept and what do I choose to change? Right. So I have really dark hair and I started noticing getting grays like around my quarter life crisis at like 25. And there was only like a couple grays and I plucked them. And then my hair cutter was like, don't pluck those because eventually they won't grow back. And I was like, oh, fuck.
Or they say that they grow back like ×7 or something. Maybe that's just a myth.
Yeah.
Like you'll get more grays if you pluck one. Like, oh no. Okay, go on.
So there's been that of like, do I want to hide my grays and dye my hair? Or do I just want to accept this is part of aging and this is part of who I am? And I don't have an answer for that. Like on some big events, like when Dan and I had our party last year, I did dye my hair because there was going to be pictures and I, wanted those pictures to look nice. But I haven't dyed my hair since then. Right. So like, sometimes when I'm in some light, I'm like some really good lighting, I'm like, oh, there's more grays than I noticed. Right. And so the like overthinking is, do I want to accept this or do I want to change this? Right.
Yeah.
Same thing. Yeah, go on.
No, I was just going to say, because like society tells us that if we don't look young, right?
Right.
But, like women become irrelevant at a certain age.
Yes. Right.
And that sounds so dark, but like, yeah, that's like the reality. I think.
Right. And that's the thing is like, am I making changes like with my snaggle tooth, right? I'm going to fix that, right? Am I making changes because I'm programmed by society? And so I think I should for that, or am I making changes because they are genuine and authentic to my, like having a healthier well-being, a better well-being, just,
or your desires, better. Your own desires.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right. And, so with dyeing my hair, I have not figured that one out yet. Right.
Yeah.
I'm non-committal both ways. Do you buy special creams so that like maybe you'll like get rid of wrinkles or not have wrinkles or hide the wrinkles or, whatever it is, but also like, I really liked how you talked about like your knees cracking. Cause like my knees cracked too. They've cracked my whole life, but I wasn't a dancer. But like, I don't know, in the last year or two, at some point I like pulled my hip flexor while sleeping. Like, what?
Of course, while sleeping.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, this is something that would never happen in my like 20s or 30s. I don't even know how I did it, but I woke up and like, I had to get like a special wrap. I like couldn't do that much like walking and exercise.
Yeah. It's so painful. That spot.
Yes. From sleeping.
That's awful.
Right. And like, the hot flashes have gotten worse. Sometimes like I never had hot flashes in my 20s or in my 30s, right? And I'm not getting like, I'm talking about like right around my cycle is when the hot flash comes, but I never had hot flashes before. And now I'm like, I'm the person that's always cold and I'm like, holy, like I need like to sit on some ice right now. Probably when I should do an ice shower.
There you go.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that.
Brave woman. Okay. Yeah. Let me know how that goes.
Yeah. I just have to remember when I'm having a hot flash, take a cold shower.
Quick, write it on a Post-it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so it's like just all those things and the overthinking. But okay. So tell me about this, our changing bodies.
I mean, first of all, I relate to all of that like so hard. It's like just like the gray hair and like I've still never dyed my hair. Like I do the toner glaze, which like covers the gray, but doesn't like, it's not permanent color. So it washes out after a couple of weeks or however frequently you wash your hair. So like, to me, that feels like a nice, like in between that I've only been doing for the past like 3-4 years at most. But yeah, it was like, it just feels weird to like say, like, should I be doing that? Do I want to do that? Am I doing that because of vanity? Am I doing that because I want to be seen as relevant to society?
Right.
Right. Because all of a sudden gray hair means like you get written off. No one cares what you
Right.
think. No one wants to talk to you. Like, your opinions matter less. Like women have a hard enough time being seen, like in general, in like, let's say a work environment or whatever. Forget about a person then with ageist mentality. Anyway, separate side rant. Okay. So recently I was listening to We Can Do Hard Things, which is Glennon Doyle's podcast, because of course I'm a congregant of the Church of Glennon Doyle. We know this, warriors who've been listening for the whole time or a little while even. And they had on a guest who, of course, the doctor's name is escaping me, but she has written books and she spends like her career talking about menopause, perimenopause, postmenopausal women. And like, okay, so we're rounding 40.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think that they're going through menopause at 40. Some people are, but usually it takes still a few more years away.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah.
Like to get when you're really in a menopausal state. When you said hot flashes, that was interesting because they didn't correct it, but they did say that they prefer the term hot flushes, which can sometimes mean that, because the word flash kind of implies that it's quick. It's like an in and out situation that say like a lot of women or even just people experience, but a hot flush is a lot deeper, stronger, lasts for a lot longer than like say a flash. Like you think flash, it's like flash of lightning, right? It's like, that's not as quick. I'm sure you can say, right? If you're starting to experience some of that, even, you know, temporarily, not every month when you're going through your cycle, but sometimes. I'm guessing it's not a quick flash, right? No. So hot flushes. That was new information for me too. But yeah, just the amount of lack of talking about and literature around what happens to women when they get older. Like people are not talking about enough about menopause. I mean, like, and for our male warrior listeners, like, I'm sure the same is true for you, right? Yeah. To a certain extent, it's like there is maybe more conversation about, say, erectile dysfunction or like other types of bodily changes, right? Yeah. Like libido, like whatever the situation that you may or may not be encountering, but like these are normal things that human beings go through, men, women, anyone. And so like, why aren't we given that handbook? Why aren't we required to go to a course? Yeah. You know, like you can go to the library for like, you know, like driver's education courses, take money off your insurance every month.
Things to expect when you're aging. Like
it's true though. And then like there's so much taboo surrounding talking about aging too, I feel like, and people just want to keep it in the closet or just like closeted anxiety, right? Just like keeping it to yourself. It's like, it's not helping anyone.
No. Oh my God. All right. I am going to say something that another mortification, like another, I'm going to regret this. I know I'm going to regret this, but I'll still do it. You know, so this woman I follow on Instagram, I forgot her name. I forgot everything. She's right around our age and she just had a birthday and she talked about like the way she celebrated her birthday was like an extra cup of coffee, you know, plucking a few hairs off her face and like, you know, like, I don't know, like sitting on the couch for 10 minutes, like, you know, like, you know, but
aspirational stuff.
Yes. She said the plucking the hairs. And I have to tell you, in the last like year or two, there has been a hair that has decided to start to grow on my face. And I am mortified. I am so embarrassed about that stupid hair. And I hate it so much.
It's just one, huh?
It's just one. And no one talks about it enough. And so I never, ever, ever, ever want to talk about this stupid, embarrassing hair. And
I think you should just name it.
Fuck face.
We should just go. Fuck face the hair. Sounds like that's a great title for like a short story. Please write this short story, Abby, titled Fuck Face the Hair.
What to expect when you're aging.
Oh my gosh, I love it. This all stays in. No edits.
Okay, then this is now explicit.
We've been cursing this whole time.
Yeah, fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think it's mortifying. I mean, look, if that's your feeling, I want to validate that.
I'm so embarrassed.
I think it's perfect. I love it. I love fuck face the hair.
I fucking pluck that mother effer every time. But
oh my God.
I'm very glad when people talk about it because it makes me feel less terrible about myself.
Yeah. No, and that's why I think it's so great that you shared about this. And while mortifying for you, I mean, think about all the people out there that have a fuck face, the hair on their face.
Yeah.
That now you're helping them to not feel so ashamed about it.
Yeah.
And let's just, like you said, this shit's going to keep happening.
Yeah.
Every year, every week, every day, there might be something new that we're like, oh man, what's that? What's it? Like, I'm not a hypochondriac, but there are little things, like I said about my knees before, they happen rarely, thankfully, but when they do, I'm like, well, that's a thought I never had. Yeah. Or that's a new feeling about aging or birthday or whatever. And so like, I think what we're saying, warriors, is that
aging is beautiful.
Oh man. I lost my train of thought now. I think what we're saying is that we can simultaneously be anxious about aging and also be really, really grateful that we're aging and having more birthdays.
Yes.
Just like with our anxiety, just like with anything that we feel or experience, we can get through it. A.
Yeah.
B, we can turn to others like you and I are doing right now, right? Being open and honest and sharing about what's happening, our changing bodies like that. Now it's just too funny not to keep saying, but like more generally, just like saying it out loud, saying stuff that we're going through out loud with others, and just empowers other people to be honest with themselves or their friends or community about it and normalize it. And also we can find some gratitude in all the things that we do have, in the fact that we get to keep experiencing life as hard and as challenging and as rough and brutal as it can be. Brutal and beautiful.
I got it. I loved it. Yeah.
More Glennon Doyle mashups, but we can still find so much gratitude for it all.
Right. And that adds the lightness into it, that really the gratitude, because of course it's like we get to experience all this because we're here.
We're here.
So that kind of goes into our shared win of the week.
Win of the week.
Which, if you all listen to our previous guest, Ryan had shared this powerful advice that he had received about looking through life through the lens of, instead of I have to or I should, I get to, right? So
I can, I get to.
Yeah. So instead of like, I have to walk the dogs in the morning, it's like, I get to walk the dogs in the morning.
I can walk the dog.
Yeah. And so that is our win of the week, is that we have been, ever since we did that interview, practicing that mindset, that reframe, that mentality. And we are also applying it with our birthdays and aging too, is we get to celebrate birthdays and we get to age however we want to age.
Yes. Yeah. Here. Thank you, Ryan. It's so true. Like we've been talking about it just like off the air, just like how impactful that reframe has been for both of us.
Yeah.
And it just makes me extra grateful that we get to do this podcast and talk to smart, amazing, inspiring, wonderful people like Ryan, like all of our guests who've been able to impart so much wisdom to us and to all the warrior listeners.
Yeah.
All right, warriors. So sometime this week, think about how anxiety shows up for you, if it does, surrounding celebrating your birthday or getting older. What comes up for you in your mind and your body and your behaviors. Maybe contemplate your changing body. If it's changing, how it's changing. And maybe an exercise might be to write some of the changes down. Like, can you laugh about them? Can you commiserate about them with somebody in your life that's around your age, or go online and look some stuff up. Don't overlook, I guess, but it may serve you and make you feel less alone to find out that like some of the shit you're going through is not just you.
It's shared.
It's a shared human growing older experience. And can you celebrate some of the things about yourself and the fact that you're still here, that you're on this earth, that you're aging, and that you don't have to, you get to celebrate your birthdays and getting older. Warriors, we love you so, so much. We would be so thrilled to hear from you. You can join our Instagram fam if you're not over there with us already. We're at Anxiety Warriors Podcast. or you can shoot us an email to connect with us about anything. Share with us your wins of the week. If you have topic ideas for us, things you'd like for us to explore on the pod, we'd love to hear them. Or if you think you'd be an awesome fit as a guest on our show, we'd love to connect with you about that too. You can email us at anxietywarriorspodcast@gmail.com. Wherever you're listening to this podcast, please take 2 seconds, smash that 5-star rating, leave us a review. If you listen or watch on YouTube in multiple places, do it everywhere. Just like spread the 5-star love around, leave comments and likes and subscriptions and all the techie words that I don't really understand or even remember. Please help us out. Find more warrior listeners to join our Instagram fam, our warrior fam, and our podcast fam on all of the spaces that we are lucky enough to be on. And don't forget that we have some kick-ass swag on our Threadless shop. Jump into our show notes or our link in bio on Instagram and grab yourself something fun with the awesome Anxiety Warriors signature catchphrase on there. We've got a couple of those like Sparkle and Shine and all the twinkles and Recovering People Pleaser. And of course, our Anxiety Warrior 80s and 90s style logos. All right, warriors, we love you.
Yes. Thank you all so much for going on this journey with us. We're so grateful you all are here.
Until next time.